Hey YouTube, Gundam here, welcome back to Space Engineers. I'm going to do another update of this big boy. And, well, I remembered a ship design that I wanted to implement of, something I saw in some video of, like, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Wars, and Mass Effect, and a bunch of others all shooting at each other. It's over there. We'll get to that in a second. And again, to scale Imperial 2, and also to scale these turbo lasers and the shield domes are identical. Up there's the shield domes and there's the turbo lasers. Location may vary, and I may need to change something on that, but yeah, so you get the point. Yeah, so one of the things I did was add a color band around the entire ship on the trench, including the back. Another thing I did was move these forward a little bit. They're still 6 of them, and they're much more clumped together. You can clearly see all 6. I still have a lot of work to do. Another thing I did was I made the hangars smaller. Both hangars here. This one's a lot narrower. This one's shorter that way. And I put a bit of an interior. But first, this. The biggest notable change on the outside so far. Remember how the Venator had an internal bit that had a big old hangar door right in the middle? Yep. Moreover, this thing. You know how the Republic gunship, the Lardy, had a great big hunking laser on the side, a ball turret? Take that and make it, again, size comparison to that. I'm not sure how tall that is. Also, I suck at making balls. 11. It's 11 in diameter. So... ding! So, if it were in the middle... from the trench, it goes to just below the main bridge tower. From the trench. So, it would fit the majority of the inside of an Imp Star Deuce. So, yes, that's not big at all. And that's a laser that fires kind of rapidly. It's like the gunship, the Lardy. And yes, I did start adding a couple of weapons. There's these. And you work on the stuff in between them. I think I need to pull it back. But I've added 4 octuplets here and on the other side. And here's those shield domes I was talking about. To scale to that. So, yeah. Again, the size. I'll take a look at the interior in just a second. I'm going to show you the engines. I've added a few. I've added quite a few engines to this thing. You can see several that are pointing down, several that are pointing to the side. Lots of lag here, not much of a surprise there, and several that are pointing up. So yeah. There's not around the gravity well generator because, well, it's a gravity well generator, engines might interfere. Other than that, yeah, that's not a lot of engines. Speaking of engines, there are engines on the inside to help stop this thing. Now, speaking of the inside, let's enter from here. It's mirrored on the other side. So you enter into here. There's plenty of area here for me to add various conduits and whatnot, and docking clamps and everything. So you go through that door, then you go through this airlock door. You can put lights or something in here. Through this door, and you have a choice. Turn left or continue. This here is actually the middle. Actually, I need to mark this. Right here is the middle. So, this is maintenance. It's just meant for maintenance. So a huge maintenance area right in the back. Now you can do immediate maintenance of craft inside of the hangars themselves, but it's primarily just for loading up craft, getting ready to launch them out. And remember the size. So this hangar would actually be big enough to fit maybe a Nebulon B frigate. And that's height-wise, but it's not that long, is it? Lengthwise, it might just, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. But I was going to say the Dreadnought Cruiser, the thing with Timothy Zahn, and not quite that big. Close. So we're talking a huge bay here. Do you know how many fighters you can fit in here? And a rack to get more. Racks of fighters could be here and here, like emergency fighters. And maintenance, gargantuan. It's just making this turn here that means you can't really bring in other craft to then bring in the maintenance. However, this turn's not so harsh. If you're just right, you can make it. It's gonna be fidgety, but you can do it. You can bring in something from this. This is one of the primary forward hangars. It's the port side. The way you can tell, that. You see how it's much lower there and much shallower there? That's how you can tell. The port side is much closer than the starboard. You know, on that corner, which is where that is, there's a wall here, and that's to the middle of the ship. So you have a sort of a passageway here, because this is actually staging area, getting ready to launch lots of fighters, which reminds me this should not be open. I want this actually closed because this should not be for launching craft. This should just be for you to get around. So you can have fighters in the upper bays getting ready, and you can have a nice passageway here big enough for something not so small. Now I know I just sealed that off, so how is a bigger ship supposed to get in? It's not. Then again, you can hold it right here. You can easily hold a bigger ship right up here and launch a buttload of fighters down there. Then again, shouldn't this be bigger? Nothing is done quite yet, okay? Nothing's quite done yet. So bear that in mind. I'm still working on it. It is my own design. So this here's the middle. In fact, the actual middle is right here. So this is the middle going to this, the forward bay, which only has the launcher here, which means you can have a lot of reserve fighters on the sides and back here. So reserve fighters that all have to launch here, but they go down and backwards. Why? To turn out to left and right, to then head out towards the enemy. But by going backwards, I know what you're thinking, are they going to run into stuff? Well, if it's only fighters, what's to stop them from going over here and then making a quick little loop and then going out? But other than that, they could just go out straight down, flip over, and then out as well. You know, oops. You know, just go like this. Yeah, while they're going down, they turn around. Obviously, the fighter would be more nimble, and then they, you know, turn and yeah. What's to stop them from doing that? There's options. Giant reactor core is almost as big as an Imperial Star Destroyer. By the way, in case I didn't mention it before, I'm going to say it again. This ship's reactor, to deal with all the power, is highly advanced and enhanced with kyber crystals. And again, that's going to be the flight deck bridge. This is going to be the actual bridge. Why? Because everyone thinks that's the bridge. Where are they going to shoot? Right there. That controls the fighters. And that's the primary flight deck bridge. There's a secondary flight deck bridge that I've yet to put on. And that's the primary bridge, but there will be a secondary bridge. Why? Lessons learned from various things means you might want another bridge. Oh, and it wasn't the executor, because this ship, I'm saying it right here now, prototypes. These engines are supposed to be red, but the thrusters in Space Engineers don't let them be red. Those are the Sage engines, so yeah, they can be. These are supposed to be identical to the engines on the Executor, except they don't go into the ship quite as far. But these are Executor engines, 10 of them. And that's a gravity oil generator supersized. Why is that important? Well, the Immobilizer 418, the interdiction cruiser, has a small and medium. The Dominator, which is an Imperial Star Destroyer turned into an interdictor, or not Dominator, yeah, I think it's Dominator. That has 2 mediums and 2 large. This is a super size. It's as big as an Imperial, just about. What ship do we know has 10 huge gravity oil generators? It couldn't possibly be a certain super star destroyer with ridiculous amounts of shields that allows it to ram things and a super laser, could it? Something that might be named, I don't know. Well, what happens when the sun goes in front of the moon or the moon goes in front of the sun? You have a solar or lunar what? So, this ship was finished actually before the Battle of Yavin. The prototype of this was finished before Yavin. And then you just have them take the things learned from this, expand upon them, but decide not to make it very good because of the price tag. Yeah, the Empire worrying a price tag, yeah, but when you have that many ships, you know, decide to just take a few things here, a couple things there. Yeah. And then they threw out a couple other ideas, like the fighters for one. The Ford Bay alone holds like 4 times the fighters of one of those things. And these 15 times each. That's 30 right there, plus that. That makes 19. And each of these, 8 times. So that's 35 times the fighters of this thing. But that's just what's in the hangar ready to go, and in the immediate staging ground around it. In case you forgot, that would be like this area here, but not this area. It would be this area here, but not this area. And not this area. And not this area. It will be this area. Actually, that might be 10 times because it goes further there. So, if it is 35 times, you have to double it because of all the extra room. So, 70 times the fighters of this thing. 70 times? What's 70 times 72? I know 70 times 7 is 490. So, I think I went a little overboard with my numbers. I'm going to have to do some actual math, and I don't want to do that. But then again, it's so much bigger. You just stack them up, top and bottom. Like I said, you have tie racks upon tie racks upon tie racks. So having, 5,000 fighters isn't so far-fetched after all. Yeah, only 72 with this thing. Yeah, but it had almost no fighters in the first place. This thing is mostly fighters and then a bunch of guns. So, 5,000 may be a bit of a stretch, but 3,000, because of all those internal areas that hold them. 3,000. That's not so much of a stretch. 3,000 fighters. Of course, there's also support craft, aren't there? Yeah. Trust me, this thing is ridiculous. And I got a lot of work still to go. I want to push this out to here a bit more, raise that up maybe, stick some things on the bottom, which you don't normally see. I'm going to do a lot to this thing. I'm afraid this is going to have to go away, though, because, yeah. Maybe not. So, the Paltek class super heavy battleship carrier. It's a battleship and a carrier mixed in one. Ah! See, somebody is not a relic of the Clone Wars, but he understands the use of fighters. Like, oh, we just get capital ships with big guns. Nobody will ever threaten us. Are you sure about that? So, the prototype of this ship finished before the Battle of Yavin is the story I'm going to be implementing. Okay? And there's this guy from work. This is awesome dude, Anthony. He's Anthony there. Shout out, hi. Yeah. So yeah. He was talking about various things at the factory we work at. It's like, hey, we could be building one of these. Nah, screw that. I want to be building that thing. As for weapons, by the way, I intend for that to have, like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 turbo lasers. We'll see what I can do. I've already got a few, but look at the size. This makes sense for the majority firepower, but there should be more. This, for the majority firepower, even with that, forget that. This? Really? No. That's like next to nothing. And unlike certain other ships that are asking to be shot at by fighters, somebody, when designing a certain super heavy battleship, knows that fighters are a dangerous threat. And knows, don't underestimate them. So, I'll catch you later.